Ms. Dana, senior officials from Georgetown, advisors, delegates, and Hoyas. Good evening. My name is Nagla Abdelhadi, a senior at Georgetown, and I'm standing here today as the Deputy Secretary General of this conference. On behalf of the entire student board, I extend a warm welcome to our participants present in both the auditorium and the atrium. Welcome to Georgetown University, Qatar. As Georgetown University, Qatar celebrates its 20th anniversary, we are proud to celebrate 20 successful years of Georgetown and celebrate the flagship GMUN program as well, which has brought many of our participants together and students from all over the world since 2005. We extend our gratitude to students from all over. Let us give a huge round of applause to everyone who has been part of this wonderful legacy. Thank you. As we gather here today, I'm aware that it's hard to ignore the weight of current events that hang heavy on many of our hearts. The ongoing crisis in Gaza, the war in Lebanon and Sudan have affected countless lives, including many of us here. To honor those affected by those ongoing conflicts, particularly the genocide in Gaza, I ask you all to please rise as we observe a minute of silence for both our participants in the auditorium and in the atrium. Thank you. You may now be seated. In times of high emotions, it's natural to feel overwhelmed. However, I want to tell you that our roles here require us to balance our passionate concerns with clear-headed analysis. While we carry these emotions with us today and into this room, we must also maintain the mental clarity needed to engage in meaningful dialogue and craft practical solutions. This balance between heartfelt advocacy and reasoned diplomacy is precisely what makes Model UN such a powerful learning experience. As you've noticed over the past year, the limited role of the UN is a stark reality that we all face. Yet your presence here today is a powerful statement. By participating in this conference, and by being here, you're demonstrating your belief in the power of collective action and individual advocacy and agency. You recognize that even in challenging times, coming together, sharing ideas, and working towards a positive change is crucial and is very much needed. 8 years ago, I stood where you stand now, a high school student attending my first ever GMUN. I found myself in the SPECPL committee, discussing topics I thought were way beyond my grasp. Intimidated by others' passion and by their amazing ability, I initially decided to remain silent. The complex discussions about peacekeeping operations and territorial disputes swirled around me as I sat in that corner. I was holding my placard, but I was too scared to raise it. As I observed on that first day, something changed. I have a competitive spirit, and that spirit would not just let me stay quiet. I watched as other delegates, who were just as nervous as I was, found their voice and contributed meaningful ideas. Their courage inspired me. I pushed myself to speak up, first in moderated caucuses with prepared points and very well thought out solutions. But when I pushed myself to speak up, I was also able to gradually gain my confidence, to engage in unmod discussions, and even co-submitted a resolution in my first MUN. That experience was transformative for me personally. It sparked my interest in foreign affairs and led me back here, right to Georgetown. Even now, as a student here, I will tell you, I occasionally find myself feeling like that overwhelmed delegate in the corner, still lost, especially when those once daunting MUN topics have become the subjects of my daily classes. However, what I learned is to embrace the challenge, view it as an opportunity for your continued growth and a deeper understanding of these complex global issues that happen all around us. As I continued to participate in these conferences, I was usually asked, why MUN? And to be honest with you, at first I simply enjoyed it. And that was enough for me. That thrill of the debate, the satisfaction of perfecting a resolution, the dressing up, the random singing sessions in the break, all of this brought happiness to me. But over time, I realized the profound impact that each successful conference had on me. It made me feel like I was contributing to the world around me, even in the smallest of ways. Being the voice of the voiceless through the topics and themes that we discuss and through the diplomacy that we engage in. The energy, hope, and diplomacy I witnessed in the many conferences I attended and led never failed to surprise me. From negotiations to seeing enemies become friends and work together and collaborate, all of this is what makes MUN truly special to me. These things are a reassurance that the next generation of leaders is ready to tackle the world. While my MUN journey is sadly coming to an end this year with my graduation, I am thankful for the skills that I have developed here. I'm thankful for all the friendships I forged in MUN, and most importantly, the hope that our collective future is in good hands, the hope that this conference continued to renew for me each year. We are thrilled to host our largest conference yet. 663 high school students representing 55 local schools with official school delegations and independent delegates from more schools. We also have 100 dedicated school faculty members and 100 Georgetown students who have worked tirelessly, I will tell you, to make this event possible. Together, all 863 of us, educators, learners, and future leaders, are united under one roof this evening, ready to engage, share, and grow. In closing, I want to share something that my first MUN advisor told me. Diplomacy isn't just about solving issues or changing the world. It's about understanding why these problems exist in the first place. As you step into your committee sessions tomorrow, remember that you're not just here to draft resolutions or to try to win awards. You're here to understand the complexities of the issues of our world, to see beyond the headlines and statistics to the human stories that lay beneath. I look at this room and I see future diplomats, policymakers, humanitarian workers, leaders, and people who will grow to guide their communities through issues we can't even imagine. The skills that you will learn here, critical thinking, empathy, negotiation, and so many more, are tools that I hope you carry forward in whatever path you choose, even if it's not the same as mine. As you leave this opening ceremony tonight, I want you to make 3 promises to yourself. First, I want you to step out of your comfort zone. I know we say that a lot, but how many of you can confidently say that you always step out of your comfort zone? Whether through making your first speech or challenging a dominant perspective, or even something as simple as sending a note to the delegate you admire. Listen to them. The second promise I want you to make is to listen as much as we speak. Sometimes the quietest voices in the room carry the most powerful ideas. And thirdly, remember why you're really here. Not just to simulate the United Nations, but to prepare ourselves to be the kind of leaders we want to see and the kind of leaders that our world really needs. When we meet again at the closing ceremony, I hope you'll carry with you a deeper understanding of your own potential to create a change in the world. In a world that often seems divided by differences, I hope that you can see the similarities. Sitting at the table of diplomacy is already making a change and a difference. Let the next 2 days spark new understandings for you. Let your resolutions reflect the highest aspirations for what the world could look like. And let every connection remind you that in this interconnected world, we truly are stronger together. Thank you, and welcome to GMUN 2024. Now, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Andrew Henley. Mr. Andrew began his career at Georgetown University's School of Foreign Service in 1999, managing finances and administration for the BMW Center. Over the years, he has held various senior roles, including Chief Financial Officer and Chief Administrative Officer at Georgetown's Medical Center. Today, Mr. Andrew serves as Chief Operating Officer and Senior Strategy Advisor at Georgetown University in Qatar. In his role, he oversees finance, IT, facilities, and risk management while providing strategic guidance to the Dean. With expertise as a certified fraud examiner, Mr. Andrew brings a wealth of experience in financial policy, operations management, and institutional strategy. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Andrew Henley.
My name is Andrew Henley. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Georgetown, Qatar. On behalf of Dean Masri, on behalf of the faculty, the staff, and the students at Georgetown University in Qatar, welcome. The Modern UN here at GMUN is something that is one of our signature events. We've been doing this since our inception in 2005. It used to be that we did one conference a year, now we do 3. And some of you in this room, some of your schools have been part of this journey since the beginning for 20 years. So for those of you who are in the audience who've been with us all these years, thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you in the future as well. So Dean Masri will join us later to give formal opening remarks, so I will keep my remarks relatively short. I want to give a special welcome to Aldana Al-Mula, a graduate of our school from 2012, a distinguished attorney and senior diplomat here in Qatar. I look forward to your opening remarks. And so if you don't know, as Nagla has mentioned, we have close to 900 guests in this Model UN. It is the largest that we've ever hosted. And so it's a matter of great pride for me to be here with you. I really appreciate your presence. I know you're going to have an amazing experience. And I'm not saying that because it's my job. My niece actually came here, flew 14 hours from the west coast of the United States last year to attend this conference, and she had an amazing experience. She says hello, by the way, Jibin. So I can tell you from personal experience, this is actually something you're really going to look back on, you're going to remember this time. So there are many people to thank. I want to thank in advance Jibin Koshi and all of the many students who have put a lot of time and effort into organizing this. You're going to see over the next couple of days how they pay so much attention to detail. It's going to be a wonderful experience. So I want to welcome you. Please enjoy the experience and hope to see you around. Thank you.
Good evening, y'all. As we celebrate 20 years of Model United Nations at Georgetown University in Qatar, we honor the thousands of students who have embraced diplomacy, debate, and the spirit of international collaboration. This program has empowered young leaders, shaping their futures and impacting communities worldwide. Join us now as we reflect on our shared journey and look ahead to the next 20 years of transformation and achievement. Here's to the power of dialogue, diplomacy, and the Georgetown spirit. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Amira El-Swadi, Head of Communications, to the podium.
Thank you, Nafisa. Good evening, everyone. As the Head of Communications, it is my distinct pleasure to recognize schools participating in the 2024 Fall MUN Conference. Students, whether you're in the atrium or the auditorium, please rise when your school's name is read out loud and remain standing. Kindly also hold your applause until all schools have been named. Academic Bridge Program, Qatar Foundation, ACS Doha, Al-Maha Academy for Girls, Al-Manar International School, American Academy School, Amna Bint Wahab Prep School for Girls, Amna Bint Wahab Secondary School for Girls, Aspire Academy, Belgravia High School, Birla Public School, Cambridge International School, Doha Academy, Edison Global Academy Lusail, Edison International Academy Aspire, English Modern School Doha, GEMS American Academy, GEMS Wellington School Qatar, Global Academy International Maithar Branch, Global Academy International Thamama Branch, Gulf English School, Hartford American School, Hayat Universal School, International School of Shuwaifa, Doha, Lebanese School of Qatar, Lycée Franco Qatarien Voltaire, MES Indian School, MESIS Indian School, Middle East International School, Newton British Academy Badwa, Nord Anglia International School Al Khor, Park House English School, Perling Season International School Al Mansoura, Philippine International School Qatar, Philippine School Doha, SEK International School Qatar, Sherborne Qatar, Stafford Sri Lankan School Doha, the English Modern School Al Khor, the Next Generation School Al Wakra Secondary Campus, and Vision International School. Now we kindly request all independent delegates to rise. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the largest student delegation at a Georgetown MUN conference till date. Please remain standing for the recitation of the MUN Honor Pledge led by Hassan Amin, Head of Operations, Georgetown's class of 2027.
There's no way I needed that. Delegates, it's now time to recite the Georgetown University Model United Nations Honor Pledge. Please recite the MUN Honor Pledge with me. During this conference, I will do my best to find out as much as I can about the country or organization I'm representing. I will converse with my peers from countries around the world in a civilized and respectful manner. Despite multi-party and often heated debates, I will try to remain calm and composed. I will respect the fact that people hailing from different cultures have different conceptions of the norms of social interactions. I will not only adopt to that, but take it as an opportunity to enhance my multicultural understanding. Thank you. Delegates, it's now my pleasure to welcome to the stage a member of Georgetown's class of 2025. This year, MUN Secretary General Aras Kargling.
Thank you, Assam. Dear Ms. Aldana Al-Mullah, senior officials from Georgetown, advisors, hoyers, and my dear delegates. It is my great pleasure and honor to serve as your Secretary General during this year's Georgetown Fall MUN Conference. As the name of the United Nations suggests, we are gathered today to simulate the diplomatic process across UN organs and committees, focusing on an extremely significant theme: achieving global solidarity and peace in conflict zones, given the significance of building individual and collective agency. Despite currently being in an era in which the UN's relevance is being questioned due to its inability to effectively interfere in various humanitarian crises around the world, I believe that the flaw does not lie in the UN as an organization, but in the current world order, which allows for some actors to have a more prominent footprint in the decision-making impacting the lives of many across the world. Therein lies the complexity of international relations. Nonetheless, it is evident that we, the youth, have power as future leaders and diplomats. The founder of the Republic of Turkey, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, in his address to youth once said, "Young people, you are the ones who strengthen and maintain courage. With the education and knowledge you are receiving, you will become the most valuable symbol of humanity, civilization, love of country, and freedom of thought. The rising new generation. The future is yours. If you have established the Republic, you will elevate and preserve it." As Atatürk has mentioned, we, the youth, are more significant than any other generation. Our actions and ideals will shape the future world order, hopefully giving the UN a chance to become relevant and influential even further. Thus, take the next 2 days as a learning opportunity in which you combine your passion in international politics with your urge to shape the foundations of the future by engaging in fruitful dialogue with one another. That said, since the beginning of the summer, our board and I, alongside our MUN staff members, have worked day and night to bring together this conference. While determining the theme for this year, we could not neglect the human rights atrocities occurring throughout the globe in Gaza, Lebanon, Mali, Sudan, and Yemen, to name a few places. Realizing that the solution lies in individual agency, instead of naively waiting for other organizations and bodies to take action, we determined this year's theme as Achieving Global Solidarity and Peace in Conflict Zones, the significance of building individual and collective agency. It is, of course, our duty to commemorate all beautiful lives lost during such conflicts, protect each remaining soul, and work towards attainable solutions on our topics reflecting current global issues. However, be reminded that MUN pushes you to leave your individual inclinations aside and think within the framework of your assigned delegations, making the debating and problem-solving process more challenging but enriching. At times, you may need to disagree with yourselves, and that is okay. At the end of the day, if you cannot comprehend how other parties perceive similar conflicts and what their foreign policies are, when it is your individual turn on the negotiation table, you will not be able to effectively practice diplomacy and bargain towards your ideal solution. Therefore, be bold and active. Leave your comfort zone and take this conference as a fun learning opportunity in which you cannot be judged for your respectful contributions. Our theme this year emphasizes agency, the power to make choices and take action. It is not enough to hope for peace, we must actively work towards it. And as you step into your roles as diplomats and representatives, I challenge you to think about how agency can be fostered both within individuals and across nations. How can we create the conditions for people, especially those in conflict zones, to take control of their destinies? How can we, as a global community, support collective movements towards peace and solidarity? In this room, there is incredible potential. Each one of you brings unique perspectives, experiences, and ideas. The diversity of thought and approach you will bring to your committees is exactly what makes MUN so valuable. Here, the goal is not to win arguments, but to find common ground, to understand the complexities of global issues, and to collaborate in ways that reflect the spirit of the United Nations itself. I want to stress the importance of not only active participation, but also active listening during the next 2 days like Magda did. Even in the real world, during last month's UN General Assembly in New York, for example, we saw great speeches being delivered, no matter how controversial they can be. However, I want you to think if they are actually being listened to by all parties. Would we have the same magnitude of issues if those speeches turned into active dialogue? The point I would like to emphasize is to listen as much as we talk. Even if it's a highly controversial individual speaking, active listening will always be useful because at some point, states and officials find the need to interact with one another, including their allies and their enemies combined. Thus, active listening is a strategy beyond mutual respect. It is a means towards achieving mutual understanding and exercising effective policy. So treat each other with respect and try to find a balance between active listening and active participation. Okay, so when we reconvene here at the end of Saturday, I want you to all to proudly say that you are leaving this conference with something valuable, a valuable skill, a new insight into an existing phenomenon, or having had one of your most enriching experiences. When I was in your shoes, participating in my first GMUN conference 8 years ago, I recall making so many mistakes and causing my chair to become furious, although I can guarantee that such intolerance will never be the case here at Georgetown GMUN. At the time, I felt bad and even discouraged because I could not ace it in my first attempt. However, I am so glad that I could overcome the discouragement and continue my MUN journey, eventually becoming your Secretary General today. Thus, I want to yield the floor by emphasizing that mistakes are normal. They are okay, and they are beneficial for your improvement, for our improvement. Being a first-timer in MUN or at a particular committee is perfectly fine, and it is meant for you to try and learn. Avoid any sort of discouragement and enjoy the moment. May this fall MUN be filled with exciting memories, memorable debates, and debateful dialogues. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to introduce you the keynote speaker for this year's Georgetown Fall MUN Conference. Aldana Al-Mulla is a senior diplomat of the state of Qatar. In 2017, Al-Mulla was posted to the Embassy of Qatar in Washington, D.C., where she served as Director of Political Affairs of the Office of the Ambassador for 5 years. Al-Mulla was formerly posted to the UN in New York, serving as Qatar's lead negotiator on human rights, sustainable development, the advancement of women, and humanitarian peace and security affairs, and served in Qatar's MFA's International Cooperation Department, advancing initiatives to counter terrorism, resolve humanitarian crises, and stabilize conflict zones. Al-Mulla's work in international affairs has been recognized by several governments. In particular, her ability to mobilize and manage complex networks of stakeholders in achieving intergovernmental consensus, bridge gaps between conflicting national positions, enhance political cooperation, and advance policy objectives on behalf of diverse political coalitions like the Group of 77 and China. The Middle East Policy Council named Dana to their 40 under 40 list of experts shaping the present and future US-Middle East relations. Al-Mulla holds a BSFS from Georgetown University School of Foreign Service and an MPA from Columbia University School of International and Public Affairs. She is also an attorney holding a JD from George Washington University. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ms. Aldana Al-Mulla to the stage.
Welcome, everyone. It is my pleasure to join you in Doha for the 2024 Model United Nations Conference. It is an honor to be with you as you embark on the critical discussions to come. Over the next few days, you will put on the shoes of policymakers from around the world. You will apply your unique knowledge and perspectives to today's most pressing global issues. As excitement fills the room, pessimism may be present too. You are here at this conference during a difficult time in the international system. Crises and conflicts rage on, presenting difficult challenges for international security and global peace. Some are new and some are long-standing. Wars and violence around the world in Gaza, Lebanon, Sudan, Ukraine, Yemen, Syria, and beyond are causing immense human suffering. Meanwhile, economic, health, and environmental challenges raise new threats. And all through this, technology brings both perils and potential. These are the types of issues the United Nations was built to address. In 1945, when countries emerged from the devastation of World War II, they joined together to craft the United Nations Charter. The Charter committed to building an organization to save future generations from the scourge of war. It is only through renewed commitment to these goals that we have a chance to reach them. That is why the work you are doing at Model UN is so important. As young people committed to understanding and immersing yourself in world politics, You are at the forefront of work to find new solutions to problems that seem intractable. If we shy away from these challenges and become too disillusioned from diplomatic means to prevent or resolve conflict, we risk far heavier costs and devastation. But through your commitment and curiosity, we will have the opportunity to learn from one another and raise new ideas. It is easy to feel frustrated by the challenges facing global peace and security. Seeing devastation around the world today, some of us might feel overwhelmed. But I hope these coming days can offer invigoration. As young people committed to understanding the world around you, you have an opportunity to leave this conference better prepared to find solutions. Where you are, surrounded by peers from around the world, is the perfect place to begin. I began, like you, as a student interested in international issues. My own career has taken me to many places around the world. As a young person raised by two parents who worked for the United Nations, promoting social development and human security, I grew up appreciating the importance of learning about the world and the perspectives of people from different communities and cultures. I was raised in Vienna, Austria, where my parents both worked for the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. Their work brought me to zones of conflict across the Middle East, where I witnessed efforts to promote post-conflict reconstruction, the rule of law, good governance, and justice. My upbringing helped highlight to me how important it is that diplomats, lawmakers, and policy actors have strong and regular connections to real people and places, to the realities on the ground. When decision makers are disconnected from the people and the planet, they can miss what is most needed and fail to impart practical and impactful solutions. What I saw, even from a young age, is that solutions most always require engaging with multiple stakeholders that are built on the perspectives of people on the ground, including young people. They also require collaborative thinking, the type of thinking you may miss if we fail to bring interdisciplinary and intersectoral thinking to our problem solving. The best solutions will work across sectors and spaces to address connected challenges rooted in culture, development, and society. I've learned along the way that we must avoid siloed approaches and have clear eyes about the potential unintended consequences of our actions, always pursuing nuanced solutions to meet the needs of people on the ground. With this background driving me, I grew increasingly interested in international issues and was eager to be surrounded by a community of passionate advocates and change makers, committed to global welfare and sustainable development. I found that community at Georgetown University's School of Foreign Service, where I took courses on a variety of issues and approaches in the international system. At Georgetown, I learned both inside and outside of the classroom how to identify and deconstruct systemic issues hindering social and economic development, and to more thoughtfully design solutions. Georgetown's transformative disaster management program brought me to Sichuan, China, where I worked alongside refugees to rebuild homes after a devastating earthquake. The experience was highly instructive, humbling, and profoundly moving, and inspired further community service in Galle, Sri Lanka, and ultimately an active career in international development and diplomacy. I graduated from Georgetown having learned through several immersion programs that tackling issues of injustice and navigating cultural fault lines demands a particular type of leader, one defined by service rather than personality or ego. Indeed, the Jesuit credo is to develop men and women for others, a call which I hope to always answer. After graduating, I was able to apply this learning to my diplomatic and legal career, where I have dedicated my work since. Today, I serve as a senior diplomat in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the State of Qatar. I must note, however, that I'm joining today in my personal capacity, expressing my personal views as an alum of Georgetown University and not in my official capacity. I'm thrilled to be here in my personal capacity to support this important program. I believe our personal stories can help connect us, and I believe that young people play an important role in advancing solutions to today's challenges. Young people are making differences in their communities, and making an indelible mark on the international environment in new ways. With the rise of social media, advances in education, and new strides at the United Nations to bring young people into the conversation, there are growing opportunities to make a difference. My experiences through my career have demonstrated the importance of diplomacy. In all of this, what has perhaps been most significant is the recognition of our shared and interconnected humanity, a recognition that sometimes can become obscured by short-term national interests. Through my work, I have participated in a variety of multilateral fora, working to promote a commitment to human welfare from within the multilateral system. I have worked with the United Nations in Qatar's permanent mission in New York, and as a Qatari diplomat in Qatar's embassy in the United States. In this work, I have seen how important diplomacy is for the effort to promote global peace and prosperity. I have also seen the many challenges that we as an international community face in practice at achieving the goals articulated in the architecture of the United Nations from its initial history. Since the 2000s and with the dawn of the 2015 Sustainable Development Goals, the international community has worked hard to advance its goals for environmental, economic, and human progress. In my work, I have helped support these efforts, participating in UN negotiations to address the many interconnected challenges of the global system. This work has focused, for example, on the importance of water security and safe access to food and nutrition as the building blocks for sustainable development and peace. Beyond this, I have also been involved in important work to support national self-determination, which has further exposed me to the importance of international law and the multilateral system. My work has also addressed disaster risk reduction, the prevention of land degradation, the protection of journalists, particularly in zones of conflict, and world press freedom, all issues facing new and renewed challenges with today's changing environmental and technological landscape. Another hallmark of my career so far has been supporting human rights through diplomatic efforts, work we know faces continued and mounting challenges. I have enjoyed working to support women and the family unit. Efforts to support the rights and advancement of women are growing worldwide, but women remain underrepresented at many decision-making tables, and there remains more work in this field to be done. My work has also helped efforts on advancing the rights of persons with disabilities, including World Autism Awareness Day within the United Nations General Assembly, connecting me with many impactful advocates. I have also seen the importance of securing international memory. I was honored to help secure international financial support for the establishment of a permanent memorial to honor the victims of slavery and the transatlantic slave trade at the United Nations. But we know that there is much more to achieve. The diplomats that have come before me, many working tirelessly to respond to the onslaught of global crises faced by past generations, offer us many lessons. We can learn from them, but we can also do things differently and work together to explore new solutions to both new and renewed challenges. Let's reflect a little more on the past. The international community recently celebrated the 75th anniversary of a foundational document from the United Nations, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. When this document was first established at the UN, Lebanese diplomat Charles Habib Malik was present at the negotiations. The document came into its final form, and Malik called the declaration a potent weapon. If yielded in goodwill, sincerity, and truth, it could prove the most significant in history of the spirit, he said. Malik's comments reveal a sense of optimism that was palpable during this time, when the world was emerging from the devastation of World War II. The United Nations system, the system you will all play roles in representing in the conversations you will have ahead, was built on a bold ambition. It was an experiment that had never been done in this form, built from the ashes of the fallen League of Nations. It aimed to stop the tide of persistent global bloodshed and to offer new hope for international problem solving through engagement, understanding, and compromise. It is true that the history that has unfolded since raises many challenges to the optimism Malik and his colleagues felt in 1945. Conflicts and crises continue to challenge our efforts to live up to the commitments states made in the wake of the devastation of World War II. It is true that so much human suffering that the system aimed to prevent continues to persist all these years later. It is also true that the recent conflicts and crises that we have seen unfold raise new threats to these commitments. And these problems are unfolding as we speak. Many are unraveling before our eyes. In 2023, the United Nations recorded an uptick in worldwide civilian casualties. It reported 33,443 civilian deaths in armed conflict that year, 72% increase from the previous year. That suffering raises alarm and questions for us about the efficacy of the institutions crafted to prevent civilian harms. Today's wars and conflict present but one grim reminder of the challenges facing diplomatic solutions to date in the recent crises of our time. The violence in Gaza and Lebanon unfolding reveals the human toll of our political disputes and collective inaction, a toll that will continue if we do not boldly identify new solutions and do things differently. Decades of conflict in the Middle East that has taken the lives of so many have laid bare the limits of diplomatic tools, with grave human suffering coming as the cost. Indeed, it is right to identify where the international system has failed. But disappointment in the institutions of the international system should not prevent us from doubling down on the worthy commitments set out during the creation of the United Nations. Despite the many differences countries and cultures around the world, Despite the many differences between countries and cultures around the world, leaders and citizens continue to come to the UN to seek solutions. Citizens, it is hard to imagine a world without the United Nations, thanks in part to coordinated efforts channeled through the UN architecture. The world poverty rate has dropped drastically from 36% in 1990 to less than 10% today. While that is still too high, we can learn from past successes to continue to press forward on this path. International institutions have provided fora that have brought conflicting parties to the table, even in cases where this has been difficult. For the UN, for all its challenges, it offers channels that aim to support negotiations to find solutions to conflicts. The UN's court, the International Court of Justice, has heard almost 200 cases. Most recently, cases on occupation and genocide in Gaza have been brought before the ICJ. Even though the court is incapable of enforcing its decisions, such decisions, and yes, even advisory opinions by the international courts, are an important part of accumulating diplomatic pressure to achieve resolution. While the ICJ has its challenges, it has also had its successes. Many of its rulings have been followed and enforced, even though the court lacks formal enforcement capacity we see in domestic legal systems. The international legal system, for all its flaws, still offers potential as a North Star for committed states to follow. Although the suffering in Gaza and the Middle East have laid bare failures to protect civilians on many fronts, international humanitarian law remains a present feature in international dialogues. Leaders continue to push for respect for fundamental needs in conflict as humanitarian acts such as humanitarian access and aid distribution and the protection of civilians from military harms. There is, of course, much more to be done, and that's where you come in. The first thing we can do as those committed to understanding and improving the challenges facing the world today is to look deeply at our shared history. We must learn lessons from the past and not let our hubris that can come from living in the present blind us to the important lessons we must take from decades of experience. We must not let history repeat itself. The second thing that we can do is connect ourselves to the present. It is easy to become overwhelmed when considering the many interconnected challenges we face today. While we must recognize where we are falling behind on our goals, such as the areas of progress towards meeting the UN Sustainable Development Goals that are stagnating, we must also turn to our achievements, such as technological progress, for example, to identify what we are able to do today to seek solutions that may not have existed before. Exposing ourselves to new information and ideas, ensuring the information we seek is accurate, and working to promote understanding of global issues in our communities is very important. It is easy for us to live in a bubble and to only see the issues that touch our doorsteps. but we have so many tools today to combat this urge, to expose ourselves to information about what is going on around the world. We must use these tools and build on our experiences, such as those you will have during the MUN conference. We can challenge the status quo. We can consider the opportunities when we come together with others from around the world. The final thing we can do is commit ourselves to the future. Again, it is easy to feel dismay when we look at the goals we have not met as a global community. But there are many opportunities to build on these commitments and to imagine a better future. The ideals of the UN system offer us an invitation to explore what has passed, where we are, and where we would like to be. My invitation to you is to jump in as you explore these questions during the conference. Consider new ideas, put yourself in the shoes of policymakers, recognize the frustrations and disappointments of the past and of the status quo. Let these explorations propel us to consider new solutions. We must work also to recognize the wins, however small they may appear. It is true that in 2024, it has been a year where international peace feels distant, but it is a year that should invigorate us to seek new solutions, to join in on conversations, and to imagine a more peaceful world. So I hope you all will jump in head first, enjoy the conference, and make the most of it. You have already made the most important first step by being here, participating in an experience based on the bold experience the creators of the UN built those decades ago. Take this invitation to dive in with your peers, interrogate the world around you, consider new solutions. Perhaps most importantly, meet new people and new perspectives along the way. The challenges are great, but so are the opportunities. I mentioned earlier Georgetown's credo, men and women for others, as a personal guide for me during my studies. This ideal remains critical for those interested in diplomatic solutions today, perhaps even more so when supporting others in the face of global crises seems particularly difficult. The good news is that there are so many ways in which you can play a part in advancing a more peaceful and sustainable world through your studies and your careers. You do not need to work at the United Nations or be a diplomat to make a difference. Whether you are interested in finance and economics, in law and justice, in the environment, culture, technology, medicine, or more, there are many opportunities for you to jump in the effort and promote international solutions and cooperation. I look forward to you all taking part in imagining a better future for us all, and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Dana Al-Mula, for sharing your wisdom and inspiring insights with us. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alex Barnhawk, serving as your Deputy Head of Operations. I would like to recognize all committee chairs for this fall MUN conference. Let's begin with the Arab League, which will be chaired by Waad Al-Ma'adid and Jana Al-Gamal. For the Human Rights Committee, Mohammed Jaski and Kenzi Ibrahim. For the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, Abdelrahman Serikali and Jasmine Simbulan. For the Commission of the Status of Women, will be chaired by Rahma Bushairit and Carmen Saleh. For the General Assembly 1, it will be chaired by Sama Al-Isa, Carl Jambo, and Thierno Balde. For the General Assembly 2, it will be chaired by Lawrence Mararak, Natalie Fanik, and Leslie Nasavi. For the General Assembly 3, it will be chaired by Zara Zaburzadeh, Adnan Abu'deh, and Tahaniya Mohammed. For the International Court of Justice, it will be chaired by Zarish Ahmed, Yasmin Ahmed, and Danya Mohsen. For the Special Political and Decolonization Committee, it will be chaired by Lashamta Maina, Maya Sakar, and Asha Al-Ka'abi. For the Specialized Historical Committee, it will be chaired by John Carlos Burag and Sahana Farlin. For the Security Council, it will be chaired by Sidmina Abdelkhadi and Aljuri Al-Tamimi. For the Economic and Social Council, it will be chaired by Ashton Deshonko, Noor Pana, and Hilal Tufeshoglu. And lastly, for the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, it will be chaired by Yokel Elmas and Zain Fanik. Thank you. Now, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the next speaker and our beloved Dean. Dean Safwan Masri is the Dean of Georgetown University in Qatar. Dr. Masri is a global academic leader and entrepreneurial educator, and was a professor at Columbia University and a scholar in the Middle East and North Africa. Dean Masri served as the Executive Vice President for Global Centers and Global Development at Columbia University, where he oversaw its network of 9 global centers that spanned for 4 continents and directed a number of university-wide global initiatives. He also served as a senior research scholar and instructor at Columbia School of International and Public Affairs. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Dean Masri.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. It's wonderful to welcome you all here. It really is. It's a distinct pleasure for us to be hosting this year's Model United Nations Conference. It's a special moment for us as we gather for our largest MUN yet, with over 860 participants from 55 local high schools. And so I join my colleague, Andy Henley, in extending heartfelt welcome to today's keynote speaker, Aldana Al-Mulla, class of 2012. Aldana, we are very proud of all you have achieved as an attorney and senior diplomat for Qatar. It's truly a pleasure to have you back with us here at your alma mater, sharing your invaluable experiences with the next generation of global leaders and reminding us all also of the values that underpinned your education over here. Thank you for coming back home. Now, you've already heard about how MUN is one of GUQ's oldest and most cherished traditions, and how since its inception in 2005, the same year that GUQ was founded, this program has been a flagship event for our institution and for Qatar. And as we celebrate our 20th anniversary since founding in this academic year, we also celebrate the 20th anniversary of us hosting MUN. So we consider this the 20th anniversary of GUQ founding and of MUN at GUQ. Now, this year's theme, Achieving Global Solidarity and Peace in Conflict Zones, the significance of building individual and collective agency, is especially relevant in today's world. And if I had been asked, I would have added the word justice to solidarity and peace. So consider that something that you always think about when you think about peace and when you think about solidarity. It is to achieve justice. And here I'm thinking in particular about justice for the Palestinian people. From the devastation in Palestine, Lebanon, Yemen, Sudan, Ukraine, and beyond, to the long-standing conflicts and crises that persist across borders, this theme reminds us that agency, both personal and collective agency, is critical to shaping a path toward peace and justice. I encourage each of you to reflect on how you, as global citizens, can contribute to this vital conversation. MUN offers a unique opportunity to do just that. Through this platform, you will step into the shoes of diplomats, negotiating solutions to some of the world's most complex problems. You will learn the importance of listening deeply, engaging respectfully, and standing firm in your values. The success of this conference depends on you. As I said, 663 local high school students, but also 100 faculty members and 100 dedicated GUQ student volunteers. All of you working together to make this the largest and most impactful MUN conference we have ever hosted. It is your energy, your ideas, and your commitment that will make this weekend one to remember. So I urge all of you again, whether this is your first MUN or your fifth, to embrace this experience fully. Take the opportunity to step outside of your comfort zone, and I cannot emphasize that enough. Stay true to your values, but keep an open mind and an open heart. Listen to other people's opinions. Listen to their perspectives. Learn from what they bring to the table. Okay? It is more important to learn how to listen than to learn how to speak. And the most intelligent people in the world are those who listen and ask questions, and probably those who say less but hear more. So, take it as an opportunity to step out of your comfort zone, engage with perspectives that might challenge you and challenge your ways of thinking and make you uncomfortable. Okay? Look for the opportunities that make you uncomfortable, because you're hearing something that you're not accustomed to hearing. And you're forced to think in a way that you had not been accustomed to think with in the past. Okay, so look for that uncomfortable occasion to learn, because those are very valuable learning opportunities. With that, I know you've had a very long afternoon, and we have a great reception waiting for you in the atrium. So I want to thank you. I want to thank our students who have volunteered. I'm very, very proud of you, looking at you here sitting at the table on the stage. And I know that you are joined by almost 100 students who are working behind the scenes. I want to thank John, I want to thank Jibin, and I want to thank Zain and everybody here on the staff who has been really looking forward for this moment to come. I wish you a phenomenal 2-3 days ahead, and by the end of this weekend, I really hope that you will feel that you have grown and you've developed and that you have gained things and made friendships that will serve you for a long time to come. So thank you, and I look forward to the great impact that you will have, not only this weekend, but in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Masi. Good evening, everyone. I'm Gwyneth Estomo, serving as your Deputy Head of Communications for this year's Model United Nations Conference. With the powers vested in me by the Student Board, it is in my distinct pleasure to officially declare the 2024 Georgetown University, Qatar Fall Model United Nations open. We sincerely thank everyone who took the time to attend. I wish you a pleasant evening and a successful conference. The opening ceremony has now ended.